going to be talking Fitchburg joining today for the Fitch-Rona EMS. That's Fitch-Rona EMS. And you can say Fitchburg, Verona, the whole Yama. Patrick Anderson, EMS Director for Fitch-Rona. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you this afternoon?
Apparently not so well. Little drop in the sensory emotion had here, but that's
Good.
okay.
Do
Where are
some
you
double
actually?
checks, that blood movement, and we're good.
Yeah, I probably need a visit from you guys in a minute, but we'll save that for off air. And we are here to get an update from you. We're going to be talking today specifically about the intern program because you had your first graduation for the internship program, and you have your next person starting. So we actually talked about this a couple of years ago when your first intern had started,
We
and
did.
kind of set the you set the course for like this is going to be a great program, and
Yeah,
two
it's kind
years
of
later, here
exciting.
we are.
It's hard to believe it has been 2 years already, and it's like she absolutely set that bar high for those to follow behind her. Just has done a phenomenal job. So, yeah, a quick recap. I became chief 6-ish years ago, almost, and then we've been talking ever since then. The sustainability of all jobs, but the sustainability of the world of EMS. How do we create the future little paramedics out there, and as well as diversify our population? The last number I pulled was actually just for a different was about 80 some percent of all fire service personnel are white males. So one of the things, how do we like every job out there, right? How do we diversify and grab those people who we are missing? Who I think it's back to my childhood of like the ambulance. That sounds like a really cool job. I have no idea how I would ever even get a job like that. So how do we reach out to everybody in our community and say, hey, this is a career opportunity for you? So yeah, looked up on how do we create that diversity, a little underrepresented populations is what we call it, and reached out to Madison College. It actually even took them a couple of years and us and a couple of years to get kind of a really good pathway forward, partnered with Sun Prairie and us and Madison College. They have what's called the Next Generation Academy. It's really high school students, I think some juniors, mostly seniors. Um, they go through the firefighting course, they go through the first responder EMT course, and then the school and us are a partner to get them internships. Now, there's lots of fire internships out there because lots of people want to be firefighters, right? Big red, big green trucks out there. Their fire trucks are supposed to be red, but we'll tolerate them as green in Pittsburgh. They still shoot out water, but there are very, very few EMS only internships, right? So people who don't want to be firefighters, but they really enjoy that world of EMS. We are one of those very unique third-party services, right? The Fitch-Rona EMS district. We work in partnership very well with our fire services, but we are just an ambulance service. So yeah, 2 years ago, we got Molly Olson, was a product of that Next Generation Academy. And we, started with us. She came to us straight out of high school as an EMT, and she's been with us now for 2 years, working to the paramedic associate degree. Like, again, very, very few, if I'm sure they're out there. I don't know any other ones that are out there, but yeah. So last year she was with us as an EMT. She's got a partner, a mentor. Kelly Cloudsdale is her mentor. She works 3 to 4 days a month when she comes in, and she gets the experience, and essentially they get her ready to go for her first year after she gets her general educations, and then this year was her paramedic technician program. So the last year now she's had all of her paramedic classes, and you just finished up her field time with us.
It's pretty, and for those like trying to wrap your head around like, okay, they've got an internship program, it helps them. Doing EMS, there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of information, a lot of things that you're learning, but that on the job training part, I think is the best part, and it's hard if you're on the outside looking in on this, like trying to figure out how the heck do these guys remember all this stuff and do all this stuff. Well, that's the I think the beauty of this piece is you're working in the environment right away. You're seeing it as it's happening while you're learning at the same time, which is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I was pulling up the numbers just to make sure I had them, correct. But it's roughly 700 to 800 hours of classroom time over the course of a year, and that is followed by anywhere between about 400 to 400 to 700 hours of clinical time. Just going off of what you just said, right? It's the hands-on component. You can sit in a classroom and learn all about cardiology and rhythm interpretation and what we do for all those different case scenarios, and that's absolutely right. You got to understand what you're looking at. You got to know the questions to ask, but then, right, that EMS provider, right, when you got to be able to answer that call, get to where you're going, get in the house with all your equipment. How do I get this person out of here? Right, how do I move them? It's all the ancillary stuff of it's easy, not easy, but it's in a classroom environment, right? You walk in and this is what I would do, but okay, how are we really going to get you down from the second floor when you can't sit up and the dog is barking? And what are we going to do with your kids? And what are we going to do with your dog and the neighbor and the car's in the way? And the, you know, it's how do
I'm
you
having
manage-
you're giving me flashbacks from the EMS days, and yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, and then as you mentioned right there, so even her first year with her general education requirements, she's actually seeing these calls with people who are experienced medics, and so she knows how to treat them. But then they're starting to throw in that next level stuff, and what about this, and what about that? So, right by the time they even get into that paramedic program, and now they're learning about the stuff, and they're actually seeing it and relating. It's the do one, see one, teach one thing. They're you can talk about diabetics. She's seen one, and now she's actually treating one in the classroom environment. Talking about an inferior wall myocardial infarction, right? Big words, big heart attack stuff. She's like, I know what that looks like. So much easier in that learning process.
Well, and when you come and have to do that specific skill or that moment, if you've been able to see it, experience, understand it, that next time that you come up to that, and I think this is practical for anything. If you cook something for the first time you never cooked,
Yeah.
and then you don't do it again for 10 years and then or 10 months, whatever, and try to do it again, it can be difficult. So by repetition and being involved in it, I just think overall it's been a fun process, and I'm so glad that she set the bar so high for you. And now you got to move into the next year, so now you're bringing in your next intern. Tell us about the next intern.
Well, so yeah, she was our first one for 2 years, so we'll bring one every year. So now we actually have Ava, who spent her last year, right, with Jeremy was her partner. So she'd done all her gen education last year. So she will start the paramedic program this fall. And then, yeah, we just met with the next generation program, and we just brought on Katerina, who will be starting with us here in July, straight out of high school. So she went through the first responder course. So she can hop on that ambulance and provide some stuff, but we'll actually send her to the EMT class this fall. But over the next year, yeah, she will hop on there and big interest in EMS.
Yeah, it's very exciting stuff, Patrick, and I'm glad it's worked so well. And I hope that obviously if there's a job opening, we want to retain said folk, but more importantly, you're like I said, training the next workforce, and the opportunity is awesome to help people get into the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Just came up with the commission meeting of like, does she have a job? I'm like, well, at this point, right, we only have so many paramedic positions, but the spirit, the objective of this internship was to diversify our field, right? So I am hoping, right, she'll stick around, and when I get an opening, she will come on in. She will be phenomenal. We've been able to watch her for 2 years, right? So train her the Fitch-Rona way. She will be a phenomenal employee for us. And if we don't grab her, she will be a phenomenal employee for someone else.
Yeah. Well, like you said, what the experience and it helps Anit too. I mean, it's helping keeping our ambulance staffed and training and good for good for the regular staff too on helping in the training process as well, because they're learning at the same time as well by sharing information and stuff. So it's got a lot of benefits there, and it's a pretty cool program.
It is very successful. We're going to call it a success.
Fantastic. Well, Patrick, we appreciate the update and sharing the information. We'll look forward to talking about as this moves along, and I can only imagine there'll be more to come as this program grows.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time, Jeremy.
Thank you.